we are not homogeneous. We come from different homes and from different directions. It is perfect. It's not surprising the behavior of Helen Zille, for instance. All that she does and what she says, this is going to be a contested terrain. We said this right from the onset when we were arguing that it's the ANC that has invited every port into the GNU, including the Democratic Alliance. But the GNU, and it's not true that there are comrades who didn't support the GNU. It's not true. Movement. I've not had that experience, Comrade TSG, that there are comrades who are unhappy and who are doing something because of that unhappiness about the position of the ANC on the GNU. I think we've embraced the GNU and we're leading it. And of course, we understand that the GNU is going to remain a very contested terrain, including the Democratic Alliance. So at times it sounds arrogant when we say it's an ANC-led GNU. But practically and in theory, that's what it meant. Because we conceptualized this idea, we sold it out to parties, each one of them agreed and assented to the document on the statement of intent. What we have accepted as the ANC is going to be a contested terrain. The opposition is not going to, including those who are in the GNU, because everybody wants to set the agenda for this country to prepare for 2026 and for 2029. Thanks, TSG. Understand that there is a point that has been made on several occasions that the ANC doesn't know how to come back. And that statement is predicated on the assumption that the ANC doesn't learn. And even today, we have not acquired certain lessons that must help us to come back. We are still in the meeting of the National Executive Committee. My own view and my own sense is that we all have understood that for the first time, the ANC is less than 50%. And it's a totally new situation. And it requires that we make certain changes in terms of how we conduct our own business as a party. One of those is that for over a period of time, there has been a steady decline of activism in the movement. Where, yes, we've got structures, we've got leadership, but there is less activism, which connects these structures with the population on the ground. So the NEC is discussing that issue. What are we going to do to bring back that culture of activism? Because the disconnection with the party begins with the disconnection between the local structures as well as the population on the ground. The other issue, of course, is that we went to these elections, and that is probably one before the last question I want to answer. The environment was very difficult, very hostile to the ANC as a governing party in many ways. One of the challenges, as you will all remember, was that we began the campaign at the time when load shedding was also at its peak. And the mood in the country towards the ANC and the ANC-led government was quite negative, very difficult to campaign on. We made several interventions on the campaign, including the review of our 30 years of liberation and many other interventions in order to ensure that we intervene to inform the national conversation. Of course, it was until very late where the load shedding issue became almost a thing of the past. But I think by the time we went to the elections, many other things that were outstanding, challenges of water provision on the ground, the state of governance on some of our municipalities were impacting very negatively on the standing of the African National Congress and its capacity to convey credible messages to the population. That we have a manifesto, we will implement it, and please believe us. Because people were looking at what we are saying against what is happening at the moment on the ground. So those are some of the things that I think were very difficult as we went to that campaign.